Hello everybody, welcome to Game AR here. I'm your host Anthony. Today we are going to be doing something a little bit differently. I know I say that in almost every new video I make nowadays, but this time as you have already seen in the title, we are going to be showing you how to play as a Zeus in an ARMA 3 online match. Now Zeus is essentially the god of ARMA 3. They can spawn in whatever they want. They basically create milsim missions for the players, generally like 16 of them. So I'm going to show you guys how to play, because I've run into a lot of Zeuses who don't know what they're doing, or guys who want to be Zeuses but again don't know what they're doing. So this is going to be a little tutorial and a kind of check to tell you guys how to play as Zeus, like not be a dick. So to play as Zeus, you're on the lobby screen here, and you come down to virtual, and you want to select Game Master. The Game Moderator is essentially like your second in command. They can also spawn things if you want, but if you're the owner of the server, you have to change these parameters to set them exactly as I'm setting it, or not exactly, but pretty close. And you definitely want to have this at 0, because then you can spawn anything wherever you want, and it makes things just a lot easier for you. So with all the parameters set, you can just join the game. And your first order of business is to create a respawn for the people. So you're going to have your little admin screen here, which will have all your millions of little things. You want to hit respawn players, and then just spawn it on the map, and you can move it once you're all set with that. So let's just bring the respawn, or let's just delete that and create a new one, like there. Alright, and use your middle mouse button or the mouse wheel. Just press that down. You can move the camera to wherever you want on the map. It makes traveling a whole lot easier. Do that, hit map, and we're here. So as you see, I placed the respawn right there, and any players that join on the NATO side or blue 4 will spawn there, or at any other place they choose if there's multiple respawns. So also you can set loadouts by clicking that, and you can set up basically billions of little loadouts that they'll see in the screen. So that's always a nice little thing to add, but it's not essential for this one. So we are going to do some basic unit positioning and movements, because essentially what Zeus game mode is creating missions for the player base. So you want to know how to move units and set them up. So we're going to set them up in the town of Lifau. You want to go to units, select Op 4 or independent, depending on what kind of mission you want to do. Simple assault mission this time. So we're going to grab some CSET stuff. Let's grab a couple men. So you just want to select men from anything. We'll do Spec Ops. We'll put a couple of guys around. Alright, good. So I wanted to place them up on a roof, but unfortunately that did not work. You can just click and drag them all around. Hold down Shift and you can spin the unit a billion different ways. If you hold down Alt, you can lift him up, down, and around. So let's lift him up on top of this roof here. Or, well, I'd like to, if you would. Come on over. Oh, and be careful, because gravity actually does work, so there you go. And they shouldn't get terribly injured from that. It looks like he did, but yeah. So that's how you place units. If you want to place them, like, don't want to individually place them around, hit the Groups tab, and you can select, let's put in Armor Platoon. And now this will spawn a tank battalion. You can spin them around same way. And yeah. So they'll generally move into a formation. Let's just get rid of you, sir. You are being retarded. And most of the time the AI is dumb, so you can just remove them at your will. So how do you want these guys to move? Say you want to make a tank assault. You select them by click, drag, and then you... not what I wanted to do. Then you want to just come over to the section that you want it to go to, and then right click, and they will find the best route to get there. They will move on their own, at their leisure, of course. very slow, very, very slow. And they will generally follow roads, but if there are no roads to the objective, they will simply just go off-road. And of course there are more mods you and your friends can download that make this a lot better, like garrisoning and whatnot. It makes life a lot easier. Oh, and controlling the camera for Zeus is Q to go up, Z to go down, and WASD to move all around. Hold down right mouse button and you can just kind of drag the camera around like that. See, as you see, they're generally followed the road, but now we're going off-road to get onto the airfield. So, that's that. And of course you can place down Blue 4, let's have a little tank battle. We'll place down a tank platoon there. And they should immediately begin firing upon the enemy. They'll generally engage any enemies they see. Looks like the Varsik's got a good bunch of hits on the AI. The AI are pretty stupid in this. That's why you generally want numbers. And yes, they were destroyed. Now how to delete, like destroy, say you don't want all this sitting in a battlefield after, like, say your team is left. You just drag it, select both, and then hit delete button, and they will go away. So let's get rid of these guys, since you are no longer of use to me. Okay, so next up is creating objectives to make it easier for the men to follow. So, how do you create an objective? Well, you go to the Modules tab, and down to Objectives, and you can create, a bunch of objectives, but generally what you want to do is a custom objective. This is like, you can edit your own text in there, and yeah. So, first, you can select the side, group, or player. Generally, you just want to set to Blue 4, Op 4, or Independent, whichever game mode you set it to. For this one, it's Blue 4. The state of it, so you generally want it set to just created, or assigned, depending on if you want them to do it right away. You will have to automatically succeed or fail them, but generally that's pretty easy. So what you want to do is edit the title. So we'll do test, and test. Now this won't show up on my map or in my test areas. Like, it's not going to show up for me, but it should be there for the players. If there's a problem with this, let me know and I'll do some additional testing. I've been playing around with this for a while and I haven't found a way for me, the Zeus, to be able to see it. But if this doesn't work for the player base and you guys figure that out, please feel free to comment down below, yelling and screaming at me that I'm a moron, and I will get it fixed right away for you guys. But as far as I know, that is how you do it. And then of course you want to just succeed them, say, yeah, good job, you did it, succeed, and boom. It wins, and the objective should be either completed or just disappears. So let's get rid of that. Now we're going to go, that's pretty much the basics of Zeus. What you want to do, of course there's, little things you could spawn, and it's fun to play around with. And of course there are plenty of mods out there for you guys to download and play with your friends that make Zeusing a whole lot more fun. One, for example, is the Ares mod, which will allow you to do more things with the AI and the player base. But this isn't a video on Ares, this is a video on Zeus. So now we're going to get into how you should behave as Zeus, because Zeuses have a lot of power. For example, let's just say there's a Blue 4 bunch of guys sitting here at the objective. Let's just say it's a weapon squad. So they're sitting here just doing their own thing, doop-de-doop, and you feel like being a jackass. So you can call in fire support literally on their position, just like mortar the shit out of it. And boom. As you see, you just completely wiped out your team and they're gone. So you gotta be kind of chivalrous, you gotta be like nice to your units, And one way that Zeuses are dicks is over spawning an area with units. For example, let's set down another weapons squad. This is your division moving in to take an objective. What they tend to do, the Zeuses that I've seen, is spawn in a ridiculous amount of AI that will essentially annihilate you. they will do things like this, which is essentially just like insane. You know, this will murder you 7 times over, and the player base, although they are more capable than the AI, will still get annihilated. For example, let's just bring these guys in, and you can see what happens. I'm sure you already know. Actually, let's just drag them closer because time. And as you can see, they're just going to whip around. Of course, they got scared initially, but there is a lot of them. And now the Zeus can order them to move and advance on their position. As you can see, they're already getting annihilated. But of course, these are AIs, and they are, you know, retarded. I mean, look at this guy, thinking he's a bush Wookiee. But yes, so you gotta be careful on how you do that. Generally, a good rule of thumb is a 5-to-1 ratio, which is 5 enemy AI per player. Of course, that is a tentative rule, and because, you know, it depends on the mission. If you're doing like an assassination mission, you obviously want to have more guys than there are of yours. But a general assault should be a 5-to-1 ratio. Generally, that's just a good rule of thumb. Don't go under. Try not to go over. Of course, you can't really control that, but and also another rule of thumb: do not spawn AI that are more skilled than the player base. For example, the Viper teams. The Viper teams are extremely overpowered. They have better skill, better weapons. This is a Viper team. These are the special ops guys of CSAT, and these guys pack a huge punch because their weapon has fully automatic assault rifle rounds, 7.62 or 6.5, I think, and then it's a sniper assault rifle, so it has, of course, the 10-round sniper mags. These things are beasts. I honestly love working with Viper teams and the weapons that they use, but when the player base is not necessarily prepared for Viper teams, they tend to get annihilated. And that's, of course, no fun, because then the player base is always just dying and dying and dying. Especially if you have an inexperienced player base, they do not understand how to move from cover to cover, how to use weapons not spraying, accurate shots, prepped stances. It really depends on your player base how you should use your Zeus powers. Next, asset uses. So, what's an asset? An asset is any vehicle that can be used by the player base or the enemy. For example, this is an asset. This Ghost Hawk. Players can use it, and it will help them accomplish your mission. You don't want to give them too many assets, because many of the public player base likes to use assets for the wrong reasons. Say you spawn. All right, let's say you're trying to be a nice Zeus, so you're gonna give them a Marshal, for example. But of course, you're a very nice Zeus, so you'll give them many. These guys will literally ruin every single one of these Marshals. And they will overuse and overpower your objective, unless of course it's a mobile warfare or if it's just an assault against infantry in a town, you shouldn't give them anything more overpowered than your most overpowered unit in the town. Say you place a couple APCs in the town, CSAT APCs. A Marshal should be more than enough to take them down. Like I said, 5-to-1 ratio. When it comes to armor, it should be a 2-to-1. So if there's 2 enemy APCs, you should give them 1 APC. But of course, rule of thumb. And arsenals. Generally, try to stay away from arsenals because the player base flocks to them. And an arsenal is essentially a supply box with with every weapon or a lot of weapons that are in the game. So let me find one. You can find one under. You basically spawn in a supply box. Say, we'll do a NATO supply box. Now that's that. So you have that. Whenever players see this, they think arsenal, so they're going to run to it. And of course you can set up an arsenal by making things infinite, like this. You know, going through the entire list, you can make it all an arsenal. It's really time consuming to make every single one infinite. So of course you don't want to do that. You want to stay away from arsenals unless you have a mod that can give you an arsenal, right? Like with a couple of clicks. Stay away from arsenals. Spawn in regular weapon boxes. If you do have an arsenal, don't bring it around with you to every single respawn point. The player base is going to request it. You have to deny them. You have to learn to say no. Because they need to learn to work with their own weapons. They need to work with their own equipment. And they need to essentially get good with the weapons that are not necessarily good. Of course, if it's, you know, you just a general assault and it was a success, they RTB to base and there's an arsenal waiting for them as a little reward. Nothing wrong with that. But you shouldn't be moving the arsenal to every single objective or respawn point, as I tend to do with my friends, and I kind of slap myself on the wrist because they're not getting good with the weapons in the loadout. I understand it's only one person, so you're kind of outnumbered, but you generally shouldn't bring an arsenal with you to every single point. So, that's that. Next, we're going to go to remote controlling. Zeus has a power to remote control AI. AI. So, remote controlling AI is actually pretty fun. It's a way for the Zeus to give the AI a boost. Say, okay, so there's an AI standing guard, and you're preparing for a siege. You want to give the AI a little bit of boost, which is understandable. So all you have to do is come down to the Zeus button, hit remote control, hit the AI, and you will become this soldier. So you can move, run, shoot at your leisure. And of course you can jump out at this AI by hitting release UAV controls. Many Zeuses do this and do it wrong. There's kind of an unwritten rule that you should, or a couple unwritten rules. One unwritten rule: never push against what you want this AI to be doing. Say he's standing guard at a base. You shouldn't be moving him from his location too much. Unless, of course, the AI is retarded and isn't doing anything or is, stuck. You can give him a boost. Second rule of thumb: don't aim down the sights as an AI, because say someone's approaching from around that corner and they don't see you. You can just mow them down. They're not expecting you to be able to kill them. And it will show in-game if you're controlling an AI and you kill them. They will be able to see that you're doing that. Not aiming down your sight makes it a bit of a handicap for you and makes it seem like it's still an AI. Or shooting around the target that you want to hit just to scare them or keep their reflexes up. That's okay. You shouldn't be aiming to kill the player base. Or if you are, you should really try to not use remote control a lot. Because I was actually in a Zeus game the other night, and my god, the guy jumped into every remote control possible, and it was getting annoying. So that's just one of the things that I'd like to tell you guys. Now, abuse and punishment. We've already talked about abusing the player base by calling in artillery support on them, or by spawning. You shouldn't spawn AI right next to the player base. You should always have the mission ready before the objective starts. For example, this would be spawning AI right on top of your guys. So let's grab a couple weapon squads like this. See? Some Zeuses do that just to mess with the player base, and that's not cool. So don't do that ever, please. Another thing is asset attacks. You shouldn't send an infinite amount of assets to the player base. So let's say that's the player base, they're assaulting the airfield, and you want them to create a counterattack. Alright, well, how are you going to make a counterattack? Oh, I know, a couple of tanks. These guys are not AT. There's barely any AT in that weapons division, and you're gonna send tanks as a counterattack, you are just asking for them to be completely annihilated, and they will be unless they can scrounge up some AT. Now there actually are a couple AT here, but it's not. There's like what, 2, 3 AT, 4 maybe. Okay. Well, they have tanks and machine guns, so already they're just mowing them down from a long distance. So you want to show restraint when spawning in assets and AI. And trolling, of course. You don't want to troll them, you know, by messing with them or killing them, calling support on them, unless... Alright, if you want to have the enemy have more to support, for example, you just took a town, so the enemy would retaliate with a mortar strike before their counterattack. You need to call it in, saying UAV has detected mortar strikes inbound, get clear. Give them 5 seconds to react, and then you can call in the mortar strikes. That's generally what I like to do, is give them a couple of minutes just to get their shit together, and then make sure to call it in. That way they're expecting it, and that way it's not like total surprise. Airstrikes are the same way, but you generally don't have to warn them necessarily as quick, because the airstrike takes longer to get to the position. You could say UAV has detected airstrike on your position, get clear. And then, you know, if you have AA, try to take it down, so they have time to get to the AA and take down the jet. And this jet will just spawn in and then fly off and despawn. So, that's pretty much all I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something if you're trying to become a Zeus or get good at Zeusing. I honestly love Zeusing. I love creating missions for my guys. If you guys are interested in joining an ARMA 3 experience, my friend Tommy Lee has a server that we use now and again for Zeusing. If you guys would like the password to it, where we can have a good time, be sure to message me on Steam, Skype, or YouTube, of course, or any of my social media. Let me know that you watched the video and you want to join, and we'll talk about it. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to click like, subscribe, comment. I'll be sure to get more videos out to you guys soon. It's just been really busy in life lately. So, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.